For most of Eminem's early career, the idea of feuding with him was career suicide. He made an art form out of dissing his rivals. From mainstream pop stars to respected rappers, nobody was safe from his venom. His lyrical dexterity allowed him to dismantle opponents in ways that others couldn't match. Albums like the Marshall Mathers LP and the Eminem Show solidified him as a feared rapper, ready to take on anyone who dared to cross him. Eminem's dominance during this period of time was so intense that few rappers dared to step out of line. His beats were so memorable and, more importantly, lethal. Many knew that challenging him would likely result in being torn apart in a track that the whole world would hear. But that all changed with Revival. Released in December 2017, Revival was anticipated to be a continuation of Eminem's legacy. Another hard-hitting album with sharp lyricism and biting commentary. However, it was anything but that. Hip-hop fans and critics alike were disappointed, with many calling it the worst album of his career.
One of the worst songs I've ever heard. I don't care if the content is great. That is great content, but M is always going to provide great content because he's one of the best wordsmiths to ever live. I'm putting that to the side. This is one of the worst songs I've ever heard, and it's giving me a real bad taste about some other things.
Despite big name features like Beyonce and Ed Sheeran, Revival failed to resonate, and many felt that the songs lacked the passion and aggression that had defined Eminem's earlier work. One of the biggest criticisms of Revival was Eminem's choice to address political issues and delve into black people's struggles. Eminem had always been an ally in the hip-hop community, but tackling race and politics in such a direct way felt strange to many fans. His single Untouchable tried to discuss systemic racism, but it came across as awkward, especially considering the landscape of racial politics in America at the time. Instead of being praised for his activism, Eminem found himself being ridiculed. This misstep seemed to remove the protective aura of fear that had surrounded him for years. Eminem, the once untouchable figure, was now seen as vulnerable. Suddenly, rappers who had once respected or feared him began taking shots at him.
It seems like you are taking the very common water cooler conversation today of racism, which I hold near and dear to my heart, because this is disgraceful. This is disgraceful. I hate it. I hate it. Change this cover. Change the tone of this album. Change all this shit. I ain't heard from you in 4 years. I want to hear from you.
Hey, Eminem, you is lame as hell. Ain't nobody listening to your old ass. You lame as bitch.
Eminem's not dead. I don't have a problem with Eminem. I don't like you, my nigga. Stop deflecting, bro, Ham. Use a It's not the M's a Use a
What about Eminem, the greatest rapper of all time? The greatest, the king of hip-hop. Is he a guest? I said, what? First of all, this motherfucker not the greatest of all time. He's not the king of hip-hop. And yes, he's a guest.
The critiques came not only from rivals, but from across the hip-hop spectrum. No longer viewed as a dangerous opponent, he was seen as outdated, out of touch, and worst of all, fallible. Before Revival, rappers generally steered clear of making direct jabs at Eminem. He was known to retaliate with vicious precision. However, post-Revival, the tide turned. Eminem was no longer seen as the lyrical assassin he once was. Instead, artists and the media alike began openly criticizing him without fear of repercussion.
Let me tell you what Joe Budden has thought this entire time. I've been better than you this entire decade.
Rappers who previously kept their distance from challenging Eminem now felt free to disrespect him.
Eminem. And I used to think Eminem was better than me.
So what you saying right now?
He's not. Challenge. Hey, challenge it.
Game, you don't want to go versus against
Yes,
Eminem.
I do. What do you mean? Yeah, I do. The you mean? So what you trying to say? Hey, let's just say what you're trying to say. You trying to say that I don't want to head or fade with the white man?
No, I just want to stay on some drama. That's all.
Hey, it's not drama.
Joe Budden, Lil Jamar, and even MGK, Machine Gun Kelly, once seen as small players in comparison, all took aim at him. MGK's Rap Devil in 2018 was a direct response to an Eminem diss on Kamikaze, and while Eminem responded with Killshot, it marked a shift. No longer was the idea of dissing Eminem a career risk. Revival had made it acceptable, even popular to question his relevancy and place in the rap hierarchy. Part of the reason Eminem's Revival was so poorly received was due to its political tone. Hip-hop had always been political, with artists like Public Enemy, NWA, and Nas addressing issues of race and injustice in America. But for Eminem, a white rapper who had built his career on raw, personal storytelling and shock value, a politically conscious album felt out of place. Critics argue that his perspective on racial issues, while well-intentioned, lacked the authenticity that other rappers could bring to the subject.
When the Revival track list came down the pipe,
Yeah, I remember that.
it was like, overwhelmingly, this shit is gonna be trash.
Yeah.
And
That was before
nobody really wanted to be wrong about it.
Yeah.
They had already formed, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people had already, formed their opinions. So me sitting back and seeing things that I saw, it was kind of like, I felt a bunch of different ways. I felt like, okay, maybe because it doesn't sound like everything else, and what most people are doing, maybe that was what tainted their ear.
By tackling such a sensitive and complex topic, Eminem left himself open to critique in a way he hadn't before. Hip-hop, a genre born from black experiences, didn't necessarily need Eminem to speak on black issues in such a heavy-handed way. Revival didn't just mark a failed album. It marked the moment when Eminem lost the fear factor that had long been his weapon. In trying to evolve, he misjudged his fan base and the direction of hip-hop culture. While he has since attempted to reclaim his throne with projects like Kamikaze and Music to be Murdered by, the reality is that Revival forever changed the way fans in the hip-hop community viewed him.
And he dissed me on his last album. And I remember hearing it.
Why did he?
Because I keep being vocal about shit that I don't like. Fuck it. He put out this album called Relapse that I like. Weird, blah, blah, blah. But it was him. It was like, this is the aesthetic and what I want to go with. And he went 100% with what he liked on there. People trashed it. And I don't know. This is just from
and he came back afterwards with the
with the recovery.
He gave her what everyone wanted
with the pop hooks and this.
I remember.
So the shit worked.
And that album was dope.
Everyone gave high fives. Everyone's yeah, fuck Jimmy. So the fans that didn't really like it, you gotta do. I want the old him. I want the Marshall Mathers LPM. I want the old him. This nigga, I don't know, but it feels like he read that and was like, damn, you know what? Let me go back and try to rehash a moment. And when people go back, that is the grossest thing. Move forward. Get what you're into for real.
I don't want you to be like, it's gonna be right.
I'm gonna go back to the old shit because that's what they want. They want. Give them what you want.
Let's keep that 1,000. None. He has probably put Eminem in a position where he could be labeled as one of the top 10 rappers ever. I don't think so, but the game feels like he's top 10 lyricists and all that comes with it, but that's just because he's with Dr. Dre, and Dr. Dre helped him find the best Eminem that he could find.
See, I feel like people like you, Snoop, keep people honest, because I respect Eminem, and I can see why people would have him in his top 10, top 5. I personally don't. You've been around a long time. Why don't you have him in your top 10?
Because there's some niggas in the 80s that he can't with.
Like who?
Like Rakim.
Yes, sir.
Like Big Daddy Kane.
Yes, sir.
Like KRS-One. Like LL Cool J. Shall I go on?
I love this list. Yeah, guys.
Like Ice Cube. You understand me? I ain't got no time to play with it. It is what it is. It's like, Cuz did that. He did that to the fullest. That's one of my teammates. That's one of my brothers. He did that. But when you talking about this hip hop shit, that I can't live without, I can live without that.
The man who was once the most feared lyricist became a symbol of how quickly the tides can turn in hip-hop. Today, while Eminem is still respected, the aura of invincibility is gone. His vulnerability post-revival made him a target, but I still believe he can destroy any rapper who attempts to go toe-to-toe with him.
Someone's gonna challenge me, who? Battle me and win? That's a fucking fallacy too. You name one motherfucker in this galaxy. Reality, you fantasy.
In hip-hop, respect is earned through fear, and fear is maintained through dominance. The moment you lose your edge, even your legacy can't protect you. Eminem's revival was not just an album, it was a moment when the rap god was forced to confront his own mortality in the game. Rappers feared Eminem because of his lyrical precision, but revival showed that even the sharpest weapons can become dull when you forget why people feared you in the first place. Hip-hop thrives on authenticity, and when Eminem tried to speak on politics and race in revival, it was like he stepped into a conversation that wasn't his to lead. Eminem's fall from fearsome to fair game shows just how quickly the hip-hop landscape can shift. One wrong move and the crown slips.